Hello, my viewers. A lot of you have seen my previous video regarding to my first creepypasta just pretty much yesterday. This is a pre-recording due to the fact that I'm just uploading things on basically day by day, and I'm gonna see how things go. There's been a case that's been on my mind for quite some time now. It's about a Canadian girl who pretty much has died back in what, like 2013. So that's like quite some time from now, or quite some time long ago. Um, anyways, this is the description of the Elisa Lam in my reading. Elisa Lam was found dead in a water tank at the notorious Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles in 2012. To this day, nobody knows how she died or how her body got there. To this day, nobody knows how exactly Elisa Lam died. We know that the 21-year-old Canadian college at that time was last seen in the Caesar Hotel in Los Angeles in January 31st, 2013. But the infamously chilling hotel surveillance video that captured the bizarre final moments before her disappearance, let alone the other details that have emerged since, have only elected more questions than answers. Ever since her body was discovered in the hotel water tank in February 19th, her tragic demise was remained shrouded in mystery. Although the coroner office ruled her death as an accidental drowning, the strange details of Lamb's case have fueled rampant, rampant speculation about what many have really like what have may have happened actually. Internet sleuths have come up with a uh, myriad of theories about the tragedy, including everything from murder, conspiracy to evil spirits. But even it comes to the disturbing death of Elijah Lamb, where does the truth lies? On January 26, 2013, Eliza Lamb arrived in LA. She had just came by um, Amtrak's train from San Diego and was headed to Santa Cruz as part of her solo trip around the West Coast. The trip was supposed to be a getaway from her studies at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, where she was originally from. So, some of you guys know and may not know that I know Canadian origins really well. Um, what I want to say about that is like Vancouver. If she's living on Vancouver Island, it's one of the most sunny places around Canada, pretty much. Well, around British Columbia, anyways. But like, if you were to go off the island and then go over to like a little small town called Abbotsford, you would notice that that place is always gloomy. That place is more like a gothic or like people who are really living on the edge side. They would love that place very tremendously. Her family had been wary of her traveling by herself, but the young student was determined to go at it alone. As a compromise, Lam made sure to check in with her parents every day of the trip to let them know that she was safe. That's why it struck her parents as unusual when they didn't hear from their daughter on January 31st, the day she was scheduled to check out of her LA hotel. The Cecil the Lamb eventually contacted the Los Angeles Police Department. The police searched the premises of the Cecil but couldn't find her. Police soon released surveillance footage taken from the camera at the Cecil Hotel on the website. This is where things took a turn into the truly bizarre. If you guys decide to search up the Cecil Hotel, they've kind of renovated almost like twice and everything, but before that, it's very notorious. I don't know which part of like the states or like even who is watching this, but I'm telling you, if you get really interested in this story and you're really interested in this case, because this is a true story, this is a true tragedy that happened to this poor young female who had so much more life to live for. I'm just wanting to read this so that later on I can explain my side of the story of what I think about this case, because it has gotten me to a point where I think I spent almost good what a week or two trying to like figure out more, trying to see who knows more, and frankly, I've been able to collect more information towards this case. Anyways, the hotel video showed Elisa Lam in one of the elevators on the date of her disappearance. Acting rather strangely in the pixelated footage, Lam can be seen stepping into the elevator and pushing all the floor's button. She steps in and out of the elevator, poking her head outside towards the hotel hallway in between. She peers out of the elevator after a few times before stepping out of the elevator eventually. The last moment of the video shows Lam standing by the left side of the door, moving her hand in random gestures. Nobody else was captured on the video except Lam. Public reaction to the inexplicable video crossed all the way to Canada and China, where Lam's family is originally from. The 4-minute video of Lam's strange elevator episode has amused tens of millions of views. So if like what I was reading is like it is correct, I remember hearing this case a long time ago, but I wasn't really fixated into media or into like this type of case until recent time. This has put my speculations onto the world of how much more dangerous it can be. That's why a lot of times, viewers, you need to be very cautious of your surroundings. Maybe it not might be the people who's around you, but you know, there's things that are better safe than it is to be sorry. Anyways, continuing. On February 19th, 2 weeks after the video was published by authorities, maintenance worker Santiago Lopez found Elisa Lam's dead body floating in one of the hotel water tank. Lopez made the discovery after responding to complaints from hotel patrons about low water pressures and a weird taste coming from the tap water. According to a statement by the chief of the Los Angeles Fire Department, the tank in which Lam's body was found had to be drained completely and then cut open from the side to remove her 5 feet 4 frame. Nobody knows how Lamb's corpse, floating lifelessly next to the same clothes she wore in the surveillance video, ended up in the hotel water tank, or else might have been involved. Hotel staff told authorities that Lamb was always seen by herself around the hotel premises. It's very eerie because if you think about it, um, people that are just like you and me could pretty much end up just in a a tragic incident just like this, without even knowing that we you know we we take life for granted, and it could be taken from us within any moment. And each um, each person has their own beginning of their story, but knowing how old you are or whatever the age you may be right now, it is quite best that you know want to live as best you possibly can. But at least one person did see Lamb soon before her death at a nearby shop, eerily named the Last Bookstore. Owner Cathy Orphan was among the last to see Elisa Lam alive. Orphan remembered a college student buying books and music for her family back in Vancouver. It seemed like Lam had planned to return home, plans to give things to her family members and reconnect with them, Orphan said. When the autopsy result for Lam came out, it only served to ignite more questions. The toxicity report confirmed that Lam had consumed a number of medical drugs, likely to be medication for her bipolar disorder, but there's no indication of alcohol or um, illegal substance in her body. Soon after uh, talk, the toxicity report came out, amateur sleuths began poring over any information they could find in hopes of solving the mystery behind the deaths of Elisa Lam. For example, one summary of Lamb's toxicology report was posted online by a Reddit sleuth with an obvious interest in medicine. The breakdown pointed out 3 key observations. 1. Lamb took at least one antidepressant that day. 2. Lam had taken her second antidepressant that day and mood stabilizer recently, but not that day. And 3. Had not taken her anti-frosty recently. These conclusions suggest that Lam, who had been diagnosed and with bipolar disorder and depression, may have not been taking her medication properly. It is an important finding to note given the use of antidepressant to treat bipolar disorder can risk including maniac side effect. If done without caution, some sleuths have understandably lashed onto the detail and suggest it was likely explanation behind Lamb's strange behavior in the elevator. As what I've taken so far is that people are all different, no matter what you are, no matter what or who you are. It's quite bizarre going through all these struggles that you wish that other people could understand, but only truthfully you'll understand, or people who try to want to develop into like doctors or people who are just really curious. This is kind of why, you know, more of these type of videos and more of these cases should be more like open towards younger generation, because uh who knows, um we could have the next Elisa Lam from like anywhere in the world, which is also a thing that we don't want to continue. And this is kind of why this case to me is special, because I really wouldn't want to risk another Elisa Lam. Hotel manager Amy Price statement in court strongly support the theory. During Lam's stay at the Cecil Hotel, Price said that Lam was originally booked in a hotel-style shared room with others. However, complaints of odd behavior from Lam's roommate forced Lam to be moved to a private room by herself. Now, personally, if that's the case with this, and I was the manager for that, even if they were to complain, and knowing about a bit of like, I would have probably dug out or even asked her what was wrong and like what type of problem she had. If I knew this is what the type of problem she had, to keep herself safe and others safe just in case, um I would have arranged her to stay, to be honest, because it just would not be great, and this is like the result of very poor, you know, poor judgment on her end. But at the same time, a lot of people would tell me like, you know, even with people with bipolar disorder and everything, this the way that I'm acting isn't fair towards them. And I'm like, no, but if you need the help and you know you're struggling, it's best to be with someone. But even if Elisa Lam had been suffering from mental illness, how did she end up dead? Furthermore, how did she end up in the hotel's water tank? The autopsy did not show any foul play from the evidence that was uh, processed, but the coroner office noted that they were unable to do a full examination because they could not examine the blood from Elisa's decomposing body. David and Yina Lam filed a wrongful death suit among the Cecil Hotel several months after their daughter's death was uncovered. The Lamb's authorities stated that the hotel had a duty to inspect and seek out hazards in the hotel that prevents an unreasonable risk of danger to Lamb and other hotel guests. The hotel fought back against the suit, filing a motion to dismiss it. The hotel lawyer argued that the hotel had no reason to think that someone would be able to get into one of their water tanks. Based on court statement from the hotel maintenance staff, the hotel's argument is not entirely far-fetched. Santiago Lopez, who was the first to find Lopez's body, described in detail how much effort he had to exert just to find her body. Lopez said that he took the elevator to the 15th floor of the hotel before waking up in the staircase of the roof. Then he had to first turn off the rooftops alarm and climb up on the platform where the hotel 4 water tanks were located. Finally, he had to climb another ladder to get to the top of the main tank. Only after all that did he notice something unusual. I noticed the latch to the main water tank was open and looked inside and saw an Asian woman laying face up in the water approximately 12 inches from the top of the tank. Lopez said, as reported by uh, Lizard's Lopez testimony suggests that it would have been difficult for Lam to make it to the top of the water tank on her own, at least not without anyone noticing. The hotel chief engineer, Pedro uh, Tovar, also made it clear that it could be difficult for anyone to access the rooftop where the hotel water tanks were located without triggering the alarm. Only hotel employees would be able to deactivate the alarm properly. If it was triggered, the sound of the alarm would reach the front desk as well as the entire top two floor of the hotel, which I find very suspicious because when I finish this article and reading it to you guys, I'll explain my reasoning for this. Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Howard Harlem ruled that the death of Elisa Lam was unforeseeable because it had happened in an area that guests were not allowed to access, so the lawsuit was dismissed. Elisa Lam's mysterious demise was not the first to happen at the Cecil Hotel. In fact, the building's sordid past has earned its reputation as one of the most supposedly haunted properties in Los Angeles. I'm not gonna really get um, I'm not really gonna go through the Cecil Hotel storyline itself because, as I explained it earlier, uh, it would be something for you to search up unless I make a different video explaining what the Cecil Hotel has and what it had happened beforehand in this hotel. But all I can tell you is that it is not a good place. It is like epitome of evil. Um, so I'm gonna skip that part. Meanwhile, the tragedy of Elisa Lam at the hotel was inspired pop culture adaptations like Ryan Murphy American Horror Story Hotel. During a press conference for the show, Murphy stated the new season was inspired by a surveillance video from a Los Angeles-based hotel that surfaced 2 years ago. The footage showed a girl in an elevator who was never seen again, an obvious reference to Elisa Lam and her Bizzare elevator episode. More recently, a gaming studio came under fire after users of the game YIIK, a post-mortem RPG, found undeniable resemblance to Lamb's case in the storyline. In one of the scenes, the game main character Alex receives a video file showing another character, Sammy, in an elevator. The elevator door opens to reveal an alternate dimension on the other side. Sammy is then captured by a demon, kicking and screaming all the while. In 2016 interview with Waypoint, Andrew Elson, co-founder of Act Studio, which is the company behind the YIIK game, talked about how the death of Elisa Lam had influenced the developer, saying that this still hasn't been a great official story about her. I remember on the local news They reported it from the gross out angels because people drank water that a corpse had been floating. That's unfortunate. But what about the poor girl who died? It's easy to say she was off her med, but why can't people think a bit more about her as a person? While an answer to the mysterious behind the death of Elisa Lam remains unclear, the obsession around the mystery has remained in the public uh, con- conscience ever since. So pretty much Eliza Lamb story will stay pretty much unsolved. There's a lot of people I've checked out into, like Facebook groups and everything, regarding towards Eliza Lamb case, and um, you know, there's one good fellow that I know, but I don't want to go. I don't know what to call him by name. We haven't had contact or anything. Um, he sent a letter recently to the Prime Minister asking about the case of Eliza Lam, but as far as I'm aware, was in Canadian water since she did not die in Canadian water. Her case is sealed. So more than anything, that would most likely be an update towards whenever he can find what's going on with the American side. But in retrospect, to point back to when the person said about how the alarm door would contact the front desk and would go through the whole entire building. That is true to a sense, but it's not entirely true. I used to work as a supervisor, well, a kind of more like a superintendent for an apartment building. We used had a door that would lead up to the roof and everything, and it was attached to an alarm system as well too. Don't know if it's like on day or off days with doors like that. I guess from different uh, places that we work. I suppose like the Caesar Hotel. That, but all I'm aware of is that you can still access that door even if it's triggered and everything. There's chances that it might not go off. And personally, for me, I feel like that might be the case. I feel like that was one weird day. No, like, the weird part is like that is what happened. Like, she got access to the door. Then basically there's basically an image um showing, you know there's an image showing that from the water tanks there's another little step that you could just climb up to, and if you climb up to that platform you can jump from that platform on top to a water tank. So it's not impossible as they claim it is. It is very possible. But the thing is, even with someone with bipolar disorder, or even with not, you wouldn't want to do that. I don't think. I wasn't born with bipolar disorder, so I wouldn't know much, but I do know what I know. And so this is my reading and my explanation towards the Elisa Lam story. Leave a comment down below letting me know if you want to hear about the my reading towards the Caesar Hotel. There's that hotel has a lot of good dark history, very very dark history. Um, anyways, take care. This has been Jude Lewoski, and I'll catch you another time.